harbinger. Harbinger actually means a messenger, a harbinger of good news, a forerunner, someone who brings good or bad news, that is harbinger. The synonyms would be like a herald, a sign, an indicator, a precursor, an usher, a forerunner, a prelude. Portent and omen are generally used in the negative sense of something bad to come. A signal, an indication, an augury, A-U-G-U-R-Y, augury. These are the synonyms of harbinger. The opposite would be, of course, a follower, a reporter, a narrator. The opposite could also be what you call someone who hides or conceals, because a messenger is supposed to say out things very obviously. Look at the next word, hedonist. Well, if you look at this word, it has to do with hedonism, right? People even pronounce it as hedonist. Both are correct, hedonist or hedonist. Now look at this word hedonist, one who believes that pleasure is the sole end or aim of life, in life. That is a hedonist. So you have the word Epicurean, gourmet, glutton. It could be indulgent, luxurious, overindulgent, self-indulgent, sybaritic, S-Y-B-A-R-I-T-I-C, sybaritic. It could be even sometimes be a sensualist, a voluptuary, a pleasure seeker, a gastronome, a playboy, a libertine. They are all more or less similar words, you see, to hedonism. The opposite would be ascetic. You see, the opposite would be ascetic. If someone is living a very ascetic, frugal, meager life, then you say it is the opposite of hedonism. Austere, A-U-S-T-E-R-E, austere, self-abnegating, self-denying. These are the opposite of the word hedonism. You pay homage. Homage means a deep respect, and often what you call praise shown for the person, God. It's a tribute. You pay homage to the dead. So the synonyms would be honor, veneration, deference, D-E-F-E-R-A-N-C-E, deference. The opposite of homage would be to condemn, to criticize, to defy. You see, showing defiance, showing criticism, showing condemnation. Look at the next word, hubris. Now, what does hubris mean? Hubris is a word derived from Greek. It's not exactly derived from Greek. It's a loan word taken from Greek. In Greek, hubris means, you see, that pride and self-importance, you see, excessive self-conceitedness, arrogance. You see, that brings about the downfall of a tragic character on stage. Right? That is hubris. There were two words given to us by the Greeks, hubris and hamartia. They are literary words. You see, H-A-M-A-R-T-I-A. Hamartia is the tragic flaw, the defect in the character of a person which brings about his or her downfall. Hubris is, you see, great pride. You see, excessive self-confidence, self-conceitedness, arrogance, self-importance, self-conceit, haughtiness, otter, H-A-U-T-E-U-R, otter. You see, that is presumption, conceitedness, pomposity, self-glory. They could be all the synonyms. The antonyms would be some like modesty, unselfishness, right? Demureness, shyness, timidness, humbleness, humility. Take the next word, impasse. Impasse is a deadlock, a stalemate, a predicament, you see, from which there is no escape. A great difficulty, a dilemma. You say that they were caught in an impasse, that is, the discussions wouldn't proceed further. The talks between Russia and the US have reached an impasse on the matter of Ukraine. So an impasse is the deadlock, a stalemate. It's a standoff, it's a checkmate, it's a kind of halt, a stoppage, a dead end. An aporia, A-P-O-R-I-A, an aporia. The antonyms would be of the impasse would be solution, boon, agreement, breakthrough. Let's look at the next word, impromptu. Impromptu is something unpremeditated, without preparation, off the cuff, on the spur of the event, on the spur of the moment. So the synonyms are spontaneous, unrehearsed, extempore, done all of a sudden. You say he delivered an impromptu lecture in class, but that was quite interesting. Right? It was an impromptu lunch that was hosted by the person. The antonyms would be naturally prepared, rehearsed, deliberate, right? Meditated or premeditated. The next word is impute. Impute means to attribute. You generally use it in a negative sense. You blame someone. So the synonyms would be you attribute. You say that someone is responsible for something that has happened, or that something is the cause of something. That is to ascribe, to assign. The antonyms generally would be you disconnect, you separate, you dissociate. You sunder something from someone's character or performance. That would be the opposite of impute. Take the next word, incubus. An incubus is literally, it means an evil spirit, you see, that is supposed to oppress people while asleep. The female counterpart is known as succubus, succubus, succubus. So any oppressive thing or a person, a burden, an owner's a mental tension is supposed to be an incubus. You say the incubus of repaying the loan weighed heavily on his mind. Right? It's like a nightmare. Yes, a synonym could be like a nightmare. Financial worries could be an incubus. You see something weighing you down. The incubus of the oncoming board exams or the university exams weighed down heavily on the minds of children or young boys and girls. So that is incubus. In fact, you see incubus, if it's a devil, then the opposite could be an angel. Something divine, something like an angel, something like a cherub. Take the next word, infernal. Infernal actually means relating to hell, abysmal. You can use the word infernal in a negative sense when you say things are very bad, abominable, like the demon, demoniacal, outrageous, that is infernal. Sometimes you use the word pandemonium to indicate the idea of something which is like an inferno. Inferno means hell. So in that sense, the opposite of hell would be heaven. So the opposite, you see, antonym would be angelic or heavenly. It's something like the incubus, you see, because when you say the incubus is the devil, infernal is like the devil. So the opposite would be angelic, heavenly, cherubic. The next word is inimical. Inimical is unfriendly, harmful, scathing, detrimental, something which is hostile, something which is antagonistic. You say your decisions are inimical to my way of living, or you say that the decision taken by the government is inimical to the interest of students. Inimical is unfriendly, harmful, so therefore the antonyms would be congenial, favorable. You say that the decision taken by the government is congenial to the interest of the students. Insomnia. Insomnia is the inability to sleep over a period of time. It's a disease, right? It's a disease. People who don't sleep during what you call, especially night time, they suffer from insomnia. So it is wakefulness, sleeplessness, lack of sleep. When you walk during night, simply go for a walk, that is noctambulation. Walking in sleep is somnambulation. Ambulate means to move, to walk around. That is how you get the word perambulation. Ambulation, that is to walk about. A slumberous and soporific would be, sleepy would be the antonyms. Feeling sleeping, feeling sedated, feeling what you call soporific, slumberous. They would be the antonyms, and the synonyms would be wakefulness, sleeplessness. You say that the old man suffered from insomnia. You say that after a particular tragedy, you see in business or in family or elsewhere, he went insomniac. That is, he lost his sleep. Jaunty. You see, jaunty means easy and carefree, lively, cheerful, happy, merry, jolly, joyful, gleeful, glad, buoyant, 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 bubbly, vivacious, lively, sprightly, sparkly, exuberant, frisky, breezy, unworried, untroubled, blithe, 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 light-hearted, insouciant, 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 that is relaxed. Chirpy, 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 right? Sunny. Now, they are all synonyms of jaunty. That is, when you want to describe someone as jaunty, easy and carefree, you can say he appears or she appears jaunty in her deportment or behavior. The opposite of jaunty would definitely be something which is depressing, gloomy, listless, serious, sedative. That is unhappy. That would be the opposite of jaunty. Look at the next word, knave. Knave, you see, it means the jack of cards. You see, in a playing card set, you see you have the jack that's known as the knave. Besides that, a knave is a dishonest, unscrupulous person, a scoundrel, a rogue, a villain, a rascal, a wretch. You see, a bad person, an evildoer, a cheat, a swindler, a fraudster. You see, a scallywag, a miscreant, a abscallion, a varlet, V-A-R-L-E-T, varlet. Basically, this is supposed to indicate the knavish temperament. You see, the knavish temperament, that is being dishonest, a reprobate, a scapegrace, a wrongdoer. Why do you call such a person a knave? You have knaves moving around in the railway stations, so be careful. Somebody could be a knave by his behavior. So the opposite of knave would be in that sense, that is a simple person, an unsuspecting person. He would be any person who is unsuspecting, gentlemanly, innocent, simpleton, a gull, G-U-L-L, gull, an oaf, O-A-F, oaf, gullible, one who is a clownish, fool, dunce. You see, that would be the opposite of a knave, you see. Because a knave is very clever, very sharp, you see. So you have got a word that would be a fool, a clown, a dunce. You see, a simpleton, that would be what you call the opposite of knave. The next word is languish. Languish is when you start enervating. You see, enervating, you lose strength or animation. So you have two, you see, types of meaning for the word languish. You say when a person or animal, you see, or a plant, it loses its vitality, its strength, it debilitates, it grows weak, it deteriorates, right? It withers away, it enervates, it droops, it flags, it fades away. Then you say, well, the plants, you see, started languishing in the sunshine or in winter, right? Or you say that the students have been languishing in the class because of that unpleasant lecture and couldn't do well in the exams. The other meaning could be that when you are forced to remain in an unpleasant situation, then you use the word languish there also. It means that, for instance, you say, well, for several years, they have been languishing in jails. Our freedom fighters languished in jails in Andaman and Nicobar for several years. You see, they were put into an unpleasant situation. An antonym of languish could be to thrive, to flourish, to prosper, the opposite of languish. Do you know what the word languor means? The word languor, L-A-N-G-U-O-R, languor. Languor is when you are tired or inactive, right? And it could also be in a state of pleasure. For instance, suppose you are in a hot summer afternoon taking a siesta in a garden, you see, rest in a garden, a cool garden. You say, I was thrown into languor amidst the noise of the bees, the music of the, birds. You are thrown into a languor, a state of inactivity, that is a lassitude, 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 lethargy, tiredness, torpor, fatigue, right? You're tired. You see, that is languor. You see, you're thrown into languor, a kind of laziness, a kind of inertia, a kind of ennui, ENNUI, a kind of ennui, right? An oppressive stillness, you see, of the air, the calmness, the tranquility when you're talking about that. Then also you use the word languor. Take the next word, loth. This is pronounced as loth. Loth means reluctant, unwilling. Is unwilling to do something, averse, disinclined. You say, I was loth to teach, that is unwilling to teach. The students were loth to learn, that is unwilling to learn. The opposite of loth would be inclined, interested, have a leaning for. You have a leaning for, you have a predilection for. PREDILECTION, a predilection for something. Now there's another word which is loathe, LOATHE, loathe. Loathe means to hate. I loathed smoking. He had a loathsome expression on his face, that is a disgusting, hateful expression. He was involved in loathing races, believes in one race, you see, is good, the other isn't good, right? He loathed all Englishmen, he loathed all Indians, that is hating. The next word is loquacious. Loquacious is talkative. Some people are very loquacious. The students were loquacious, that is, they are talkative. The synonyms would be garrulous, verbose, talking a lot, chatty, that would be verbosity. Being flowery in language, you see, being verbose. The opposite would be taciturn, aloof, laconic, not speaking much. If someone doesn't speak much, is very reticent, that would be the opposite of what you call loquacious, a loquacious person. The next word is ludicrous. Ludicrous is something which is laughable, derisible, DIRISIBLE, laughable, silly, inviting laughter, something which is comical, farcical, trifling, absurd. You say that the whole thing appears to be ludicrous. So anything which is not ludicrous would be rational, sensible, reasonable. That would be the opposite of ridiculous. Let's take the next word, malign. You see, malign is used as a verb. It means what you call causing or intending harm or evil. Like cancer or tumor, we say it's malignant or benignant. Now, when you say it's malignant, well, you mean to say that it's harmful, it's scathing, it's going to harm you, it's detrimental to your health. So if you malign someone, you defame that person, you foul-mouth that person, or in other words, you speak of him in a spiteful, critical manner. You defame that person, you libel that person, you slander this person, you vilify, you smear, you taint, you smirch. They are all similar words. They may not be exactly synonyms. But when you malign someone, what do? You generally taint his character. You smirch his character. You blemish his character. Right? You run down his character. You vilify him. You libel him. You misrepresent him. You calumniate him. CALUMNIATE. Calumniate. You denigrate that person. You disparage that person. You derogate that person. You cast a slur upon him. SLUR, slur. You cast aspersions upon that person. You revile that person, you abuse that person. That is maligning. There could be synonyms also sometimes when you use them. For instance, you say that he maligned the entire community. That is, he spoke ill of it. He denigrated it. He disparaged it. He spoke derogatively of that. The antonym of malign would be benign, right? Something which is benign, that would be the opposite of benign. Malign, that is, you praise, you commend, you eulogize, right? You panegyrize, you recommend someone, so then you're not maligning them, you're doing exactly the opposite. We'll take up the next word, that is meager. Meager refers to a small number, not enough. You can use it in many words. You see, the strength was meager in the science faculty. That is, there weren't much students. Or for instance, you say, my means are meager. I cannot take admission to the medical college. In the medical college, that is, you're not economically well off. That is, inadequate, paltry, scanty, scarce, having a dearth of something. Economically weak, that is meager. Well, words that are more or less synonymous or related to meager would be deficient, inadequate, insufficient, lacking, short, dearth, wanting, exiguous, 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 hand to mouth, light, poor, scant, pauper, scanty, scarce, skimp, 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 slender, slim, spare. You see in English sometimes they use meager for a person who is lean and thin and raky, right? They use this word meager, but it's not very common, right? We generally use meager when we have got to denote something which is lacking. Or the opposite of meager would be abundant, plenty, copious, enough, sufficient, luxuriant, lavish, blooming, bursting, flourishing, swarming, teeming, thriving, excess, extra, superfluous, surplus, bountiful. So they would be the opposites of what you call meager. Let's take the next word, mitigate. When you say mitigate, you make that particular thing less harmful or less unpleasant. You make it less bad. You try to appease, you try to placate, placate, placate. The synonyms would be mitigate means to moderate, to palliate, to assuage, to abate, to alleviate. You say the poverty was mitigated, that is, it was reduced, it was abated, or the pain may be mitigated. Pain might be mitigated. You say, I could mitigate his anger. I couldn't mitigate his anger, and that is how he committed the crime. That is to assuage, to abate, to alleviate, to moderate, to make something less unpleasant, bad, to appease. The opposite would naturally be, obviously be antonyms, you see, would be to, if you intensify something, aggravate something, make something from bad to worse, that is the opposite of mitigate. You say he intensified or the disease was aggravated by the wrong treatment of the doctor.